For my capstone career project, I've chosen a career that I've been interested in for quite some time now. That is film producer. Now, what exactly do film producers do? Most of the time, people give the recognition of a film to the director or maybe even the actor. But the reason why a film exists is usually because of the producer. Producers. They do a plethora of tasks. They map out and manage various aspects of a motion picture. In other words, producers supervise all that is happening in a film production to ensure that post-production processes are going as planned. That sounds like a lot of work. And it is. A film producer job carries a handful of responsibilities and specific tasks, such as selecting the scripts, hiring the actors, and the right people for the film crew. Hiring the right people is key to a successful movie production because you wouldn't want Tim Burton, the director of how some people would describe as goofy gothic style movie, to be directing the next Baywatch 2 starring Ellen DeGeneres, or Steven Spielberg, the director of Jurassic Park and E.T., to be directing the next Pixar film. Because it's important, producers also make sure that the production stays on schedule. How they make sure that happens is that they supervise different features of a film, like performance,
Get sweaty, okay, I like that.
Lighting, music selections, choreography, special effects, editing, you name it. They do that to make sure that everything in each aspect is running smoothly so the rest of the creative crew can avoid problems and delays. Any delay in the production schedule is a no-no because it can extend the time of the production. And as many people say, time is money. Speaking of money, even though all the others are pretty important, the biggest responsibility of a producer is finance management. Movies are expensive, and a good producer must know how to make their money and budget it wisely. Lastly, even when a movie has been completed successfully, a producer's job is not done yet. They must now promote the film. They can do that through interviews, advertisements, festivals, and so forth. But of course, in order to succeed in this profession, one must have a set of skills, abilities, and general knowledge. There is a numerous amount of skills that must come along with this career, such as monitoring skills, where you can monitor performance of individuals, including yourself, and making improvements. Speaking skills, which is very self-explanatory, but it is being able to effectively speak to people. Critical thinking skills, the skill that uses logic and reasoning to identify problems and generate solutions. Writing skills, being able to write effectively according to your audience. And of course, many more. Some examples of abilities that a future producer should have are oral comprehension, the ability to listen and understand information and ideas presented through spoken words and sentences. Oral expression, the ability to communicate information and ideas in speaking so others will understand. Problem sensitivity, the ability to tell when something is wrong or is likely to go wrong. It does not involve solving the problem, only recognizing that there is a problem. Speech recognition, the ability to identify and understand speech of another person. Written comprehension, the ability to read and understand information and ideas presented in writing, and many more. Moving on to general knowledge, of course, producers must know how a film production works and also some finance knowledge in order to be budgeting the film. However, there's far more various information that they must know in order to succeed, such as telecommunications, the knowledge of transmission, broadcasting, switching, control, and operation telecommunication system.
English language.
It is important that a producer knows their grammar and sentence structures since they're going to be reviewing scripts and paperwork, computers, and electronics, because working in a production involves electronics and gear, and of course others. When it comes to the work environment of a producer, one might probably be thinking that they're in the studio with the film crew all day. It's a possibility, but the chances are kinda low. That's because producers travel to different places with the crew, so their work environment conditions are inconsistent and can vary. So a typical day for a producer is never the same as yesterday, but it would likely go down like this. Wake up, breakfast, go to meetings, eat lunch, more meetings, make and answer phone calls.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
manage production, dinner, and sleep. As I said in the beginning, producers do a lot of work. With all this work that they're handling, they must make a lot of money. That is sort of true, but it can vary. When a producer first starts out, they only make around $35K annually or less. Then it doubles to $70K when they reach their median pay. As they gain more experience throughout the years, the salary can grow to $100K a year, $100K a year, or more if they become extremely successful, like George Lucas, who is now a famous billionaire producer. Due to high demands of movies, the producer career field's employment is predicted to grow 12% within the next decade. Producers don't necessarily have promotions. Their promotions are basically their projects, meaning that a producer could go from making short films and posting it to YouTube and Vimeo to making movies that make it to the big screen. When it comes to location and portability, producers are preferably to go to popular states such as California, New York, Florida, and Georgia. That's because there's a lot of companies and employment and higher wages in those areas. Although you can be a producer anywhere, because the producer job, you can work for a company, freelance, or self-employed. A current job posting is located at Burbank, California. They are looking for a writer, producer, and editor for their branded entertainment department. People can become producers with only a high school diploma or less. However, most producing jobs require bachelor's degrees and communications and film TV. Those include courses such as multimedia video production, history of film, digital media portfolio, and visual communication. This is the guided pathway for the beginning at IRSC. No certifications and licenses are required. However, additional courses that would benefit are available, such as business, finance, marketing, and management. It is now time to have a reality check. Can I make a living out of this? Yes, I can. It may be a bit overwhelming and difficult at first, since most of the jobs are located in big cities like Los Angeles or New York City, where relocation is required. Making $30K a year in big cities where everything is pricier is most likely going to be the biggest challenge. Now to list out some negatives and positives. Starting out with the negatives, producing is obviously stressful. Usually what causes that are deadlines. If you miss a deadline, then problems will start to arise. Also, experience is really what gets you the job. People could go for internships, but it could take a long time to actually get anywhere without years of experience. Lastly, producing is also finding ways to make money out of thin air.
Just subtracted from today's profit. And there's no money in here.
To do so, you must convince investors that your movie is worth the coin. Or you can also fundraise, but that will take a lot of time and effort. For positive, being a producer could give you options on whether to work for a big company, freelance, or self-employed. You get the chance to travel to different places, whether it's for searching locations for the movie or going to a meeting with Emma Watson's agent to try and get her to star in your next movie. Working on long projects with the crew can introduce you to new people and grow strong bonds and relations with them. Lastly, being a producer makes movies happen. Movies for people to enjoy and experience. The results to my personal assessments inventory. For my personal values, it's said that I value commitment, family, and trust. This is useful to the career because being a producer, you work with projects that you're going to have to commit because they cost a lot. Also, you work with people on these long projects and you're just going to have to give your trust to them that they will give you their best effort, and at the end, the people will eventually become like family. I have an average emotional intelligence, that meaning I am average when it comes to interpreting and understanding emotions. It means when it comes to producing, I would have enough intelligence to comprehend the emotions of the people I'm working with. Though I may have some rough patches. But as a successful intelligence, I scored the highest on the creative thinking skill, which would come in handy considering selecting and reviewing various aspects of a movie requires some creativity. On the personality spectrum, I fall under the adventurer category. Adventurers are courageous, daring, and do hands-on problem solving, which is convenient for the job. Problems will occur in a production, and the producer is the one who's going to have to step in and handle the problem. On the multiple intelligence, I scored the highest on the musical category. Although this multiple intelligence does not really have a strong connection with the profession, except for maybe that it is underperforming on the building experience test. I am very neutral when it comes to big groups and different environments. That means working with a big group like a film crew will be no problem, and different environments that I'd have to go to won't affect me that much. On the career interest profiler, arts, audio, video technology, and communications came up as my best match, where the producer job falls on. My top 3 work values showed that I value co-workers, supervision, and income. It makes sense because working with people is something that should be valued, because the work of the film crew is what's going to make the finished product. Also, supervision and income important to me as well. Supervision means that your boss appreciates your value and is easy to talk. And as a producer, you're basically working for the people, investors, or a big company. Although it varies, it's nice to have good communication with who you're working for, so you are more likely to accurately achieve what they're looking for in a film. Lastly, income is important because I would like personal finance to be the least of my worries. Producing fulfills my interests and needs. I've always had a strong interest in creating films. It's an exciting way to bring stories and show different perspectives. It also fits my needs of living in a city, and consistent and flexible scheduling, and earning a reasonable median pay. After all the research gathered, it's time to make the final evaluation. Producing is not an easy job. Their success must rely on the creative performance of the crew, putting themselves in a position where they offer up their work and themselves to the people's judgment. It is a profession that you must work hard to be good at. It is tedious and unexpected. However, at the end, you reward yourself and your team because you've created a piece of art that shares a unique story for the people to enjoy. So, is this job fit for me? The answer is yes. Although I would also like to take part in a much more creative position, such as the director or the scriptwriter. But the aspects of what a producer does is something I feel I would succeed the most. That's it for my presentation. The end.
Why you gotta be so insecure? Yeah. When I did all I could do.